Okay, guys. So happy Sunday. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully, you guys caught Mindset Church today, and if not, you have the opportunity to sometime this week. Today, we're going to be talking about timeline hopping, which I love. I love, love, love talking about quantum jumping and being able to shift and breeze through certain timelines. And so we're going to be talking about collapsing time without chaos, without going crazy. And so, what exactly is timeline shifting? Timeline shifting is not just about thinking different thoughts, right? Okay, so it's about accessing a parallel version, like a parallel version of reality that is already existing, already happening for you. And that seems sort of like odd to even think about, right? That there's a version of you that already has all the things, all of the things, right? But isn't it also empowering? Isn't it also empowering to know that the you that you want to be already exists, right? One where your desires are already realized. And so all you have to do is align your energetic field to it. So it's basically saying that all possibilities already exist simultaneously. Everything is already existing. And so you're really not creating. And so it gets sort of tricky when we're using these terms and stuff, right? Because I'm like, you are a creator, you are creating your reality. But it really is us tapping into. Um, we're actually sort of selecting, okay, this is what I want because it already exists, so you don't have to create it. Everything already exists. There's nothing new under the sun. We like to think so because it's an experience for us. It seems to be new to us, but all we really want to do is tap into, align with the identity that is that we are pursuing. Okay, so you sort of got to think of it like a radio dial, right? Like the quantum field is a radio dial. And every station, aka your timeline, every station is a different timeline. And so it's already playing. It's already on. Those radio stations, you don't, it doesn't start just because you turn it on. No. When it's already playing, you just turn your station, you just tune into the station, right? And then you get to listen to it. You get to tap into that specific frequency and listen to the radio station, right? Well, it's the same thing with us. And it's what helps us tap into it is our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, and the identity that we choose to embody. Okay, because this is why the program is called complete identity shift, because you really have to embody, right, the identity that you want to tune into. Okay, and that's how you see a different 3D. You see a different 3D by embodying a different identity. Okay, so you can shift your timeline or you can try to rush through it. And this is sort of piggybacking off of what I was discussing this morning in mindset class, how rushing is ruining our results. It's actually ruining our results because rushing comes from urgency, comes from fear. I need money because I don't have it now. I don't have it now, right? Lack. This is lack. You noticing the lack of it being there, right? And this basically is your nervous system um, re, regurgitating, reacting to what it is accustomed to, right? And so if you're used to having lack, there never being enough, right? Of course, right? Rushing things, rushing to get the money, rushing to get the food, rushing to have it now because you can't trust that it's going to be there later. That's going to hurt shifts that you're trying to make in your life because you're not trusting in the universe to deliver. Okay. You're not trusting in the same thing. Some people will you can feel either way about this. But some people will prepare for doomsday, you know. And when you're preparing for doomsday, like I get it, you want to be prepared, right? I guess ultimately that's what in case anything happens, you want to be prepared. But that's actually operating out of extreme fear. And I honestly believe that you manifest that which you attach those powerful emotions to and all of that. So we have to be careful of the actions that we're taking, the things that we are embodying every single day, the words that we are speaking, all of this, because this is our nervous system really giving us clues as to what it is that we have to sort of deal with, okay, or take care of. Because when you're rushing, things are moving too fast where you're not really able to understand, understand the feedback that you're getting because you're rushing. But when you slow down, your fears become evident, your worries become evident. You get to see how you're really operating in those moments. So, timeline shifting, we want a timeline shift instead of rush because timeline shifting is rooted in calm certainty. Like I'm calm. I'm certain. I know for a fact that the divine is going to deliver, right? I have faith in the divine, so I don't worry. This helps eliminate your anxiety, your worries, and things like that because you have trust. You exude faith. Faith. Timeline shifting, you must have faith that you already have it. How can you tap into another timeline when you don't actually feel like that identity? You can't really fool this, right? It's the frequency of already done. You got to know that it's already done. Okay. And you must completely align now. You need to align like right now, like yesterday, with the version of you has who has already received it. Okay. And that's when you'll see the timelines rearranged to meet you right where you are. See, it's like you're right here. And you've decided on the identity that you want to embody. And that identity is living on this timeline. Okay. And so once you choose it, fully embody it, decide that it is done, right? Then now that you've stepped into this identity, the world has to start shifting to like confirm the shift that you have made. Okay. And so we don't want our manifestations, we don't want to be manifesting from lack and things like that because honestly, manifestation doesn't respond to panic. It responds to precision, precise shifts, precise frequency shifts. All right. Precise frequency shifts. So if you are looking at the 3D, that is a clear reflection, okay, of the identity that you are embodying. Now, you have to be mature enough to know, thank you for that, D, that hello, there is also this time where you're creating. And so you can't look at this 3D and then react and then judge. Okay. And so again, this all comes with manifestation maturity, emotional maturity, creative maturity, I should say. Um, what we do want to remember is that all timelines, they really exist. Every timeline is real. There are infinite versions of yourself. Infinite. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on, right? All possibilities. And so again, remembering that your frequency is your access code to each of these timelines. Your frequency. Just like each radio station has a specific number that you must shift to. Your frequency is your access code to be able to experience that reality. Okay? So if you want the millionaire you must vibrate at her level. Okay? Not just in money. but in self-worth, in boundaries, in emotional regulation, all of that. See, it's not just, okay, I want to be a millionaire and that's just my money. No, that millionaire is a completely different person from you. Completely different. So identity is what key? This is key for us. Okay. Identity is key. You can't hop into a new timeline while you're holding on to an old identity of lack and suffering. You just won't get there. Okay. And so we want to remember that thoughts. What are our creative tools? Our thinking, our speaking, our actions, our emotions. Okay. Our actual beliefs, who we believe we are, our nervous system. All of this equals your timeline selection. All of these things together determine what station you get to tap into. Okay. So you can't change your life by just affirming different thoughts. Okay. If your body is still vibrating with fear, if it's still vibrating with guilt, if it's still vibrating with shame. I always talk about divine alignment. Okay. All right. We must ensure that we are taking care of our nervous system, because the nervous system, when I'm saying that, that is what remembers your traumas, your past traumas. So if you're not keeping those chakras balanced, if you're not doing, listening to your frequency healing music, or going and get acupuncture, regular acupuncture sessions, or regular Reiki sessions, or regular whatever sessions, it must be regular. Okay, because you want to retrain your nervous system, okay, to feel safe in your new reality. The reason why people self-sabotage is because their nervous system is doing it. It's not them doing it. Your body does not forget. You can retrain it to remember something else. Okay. Because when your nervous system doesn't feel safe to expand, I've seen wonderful people self-sabotage beautiful relationships. Okay. Or say you receive a big opportunity at work, and then you're instantly like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. This isn't for me. I don't want to pursue this anymore. No way. I'm backing out, you know. Uh, so this is an example of how you can self-sabotage. Okay. It's actually not in this moment when it has to do with your nervous system, it's not resistance necessarily, it's regulation, right? So you're not able to regulate your nervous system like you should. The body is trying to anchor back to the past, to the hurt, to the timeline that it feels safe. Is safe. It doesn't want you trying those new things because it's never been safe there before. It doesn't want you getting into those healthy relationships because that wasn't safe before. Love feels dangerous to you. And so it's going to self-sabotage in certain situations. Okay. All right. And so um another thing we want to consider is, are you timeline drifting? Okay. And this is happening when your thoughts, you're like, yes, I want to do this. But your actions say no, right? There's no alignment there, right? You can think, yes, that is a great idea. I should be doing this. But your actions are like, I'm gonna be lazy. Or I have to do it until I get perfect. And so you never do it. I see a lot of that. People are like, oh, I'm a perfectionist and it's just hindering me from actually getting started. Yeah, it does. And so when you want a timeline lock, okay, that's when your vision, your thoughts, your speaking, I'd say you got to create new habits, new routines, all of this stuff, right? This all in alignment. This, when it's all speaking the same language, this is when you see the shifts. So you want to lock in to your timeline. You want to maintain your timeline. You want to be consistent with that identity. Okay. And it's not about perfection. It's more about how am I integrating this new energy shift and this shift into my life now? How am I embodying this on a daily basis now? Right. Okay. So I hope that that helped. Okay, with understanding that in order to shift, right? In order to shift these timelines, it's all about your frequency. It is all about your frequency that you are maintaining. Okay. Your affirmation should be I no longer chase timelines. I become them. You know, I am the identity that I desire. My identity aligns with my highest possible reality, right? Or I feel safe in the frequency of expansion. Okay. So you can be doing some work to help yourself through this, like future self mapping, right? And this is where you're journaling that version of you that already lives there in that timeline, right? And so ask yourself questions about her. What does she know? How does she look? What does she think like? What does she feel like? All of the things. What did she release? How did she surrender? What did she normalize in her life? You are understanding that that person, that identity, that frequency shift is going to be someone different from who you are now. And so then you want to embody and anchor that in, right? So you want to practice moving like her, practice speaking like her, practice breathing like her, all of that. This helps you um, be in that timeline that you desire. And so the more you do this, the quicker you'll see yourself shift. The more you do this, the quicker you'll see yourself shift. There's been times where I have quantum jumped, baby, and I'm sitting up there like, when the hell did I have a baby? Seriously, when did I have a baby? I'm waking up and I'm now in this house. When did this happen? It's almost like you're like, when did this when did all this happen? Oh my gosh, I'm married? Oh my gosh. And so you'll find that your life shifts in such quick instances. This is why when I tell people to live in their purpose and embody that new identity, they meet their forever person and all of a sudden they're getting married and they're doing all the things so quickly. Yeah, you see things shift like that so quick because this is your person, right? And so I always say when you know your person, but it's like things start to move so fast because it is right. Because it is right. And you embodying that identity every single day is what allows for you to almost push a fast forward button, okay? And jump into the timelines that you prefer. So it's like this. Um, it was one day where I'm sitting up here speaking out loud in this actual very basement. Like I'm in my parents' basement. Okay, of course it looks a little more rearranged, right? But this is where I was staying when I was in between Florida and here, right? And so I had come back to the DC area, and that was my bedroom back there. And I used to speak out loud to my husband, my future husband. And so it was like one day I was here, and then all of a sudden, like 2 years later, like literally 2 years later. I am engaged. I have a new home. I am pregnant. And it's like so different. It's so drastically different. But what was I doing to help speed up that process? Well, when I was here speaking out loud, why the hell would I be speaking out loud to my future husband if that's not the identity that I wanted to tap into? I'm talking like people would have thought I was crazy, but no, I'm talking to my husband, right? And so I'm acting as if it is done. I'm practicing writing Mrs. I am loving on myself, pouring into myself, enjoying my company. I'm being patient because I know that I'm going to recognize them when I see them. I know that the divine is going to be very clear. There will be no mistakes. There will be no guessing, and so I'm very confident in that. So then now when you meet someone, you don't have to be, is this the one? Is this the one? You won't have to do that, right? So there's this calm knowing within me. And because I know that, okay, there's this knowing that everything is going to work out and in just the perfect timing. My job is just going to be to focus on me. How would I love? What type of relationship would I want? What type of mama and what type of, where would I want to live and how would I want to live? Like these are the beautiful things that I get to think about and create now. And so as I'm thinking about that, right? I'm thinking about that. You're building that momentum, right? You're building that momentum up. And this is how things feel like they're going to fast forward when you meet the person. Because as you were creating in your mind, my husband too was creating in his mind. He was talking to his future wife. So if you got two people that are in their mind creating, they're here in the spirit realm creating. We had his mom praying over our future relationship. She didn't know me, but she was praying. We're all in the spirit realm working together. So you think when we meet, things ain't gonna need time to catch up with us? Oh yeah. The universe was like, shit, they've already been working. We gotta show them what they've been creating. And so it's like you zoom right through things. It is crazy. It is beautiful. It is magnificent. It's magical. It's all of the things. Okay? So I'm trying to like break down the simplicity of it, like how it is done, right? Like, okay, I was in my mind thinking about it first. I was in my mind a lot thinking about it first and feeling it into existence and, doing all of those things. So then when I met him, then things needed to catch up as far as the matter, the 3D, this 3D world needed to catch up with all of the creating that we had done. So that's sort of the simple way of sort of breaking it down, quantum jumping through and shifting through timelines. But that's ultimately what's happened. You go there in the mind first. Okay. You become that first. Okay. And when you tune into it and embody it, all right, then the world has to catch up, basically, is what's happening. So I'm going to stop the recording here and then answer any questions.